All right, here we go with another fun-filled, action-packed edition of Weather for Weather Geeks here on August the 2nd, 2016. It was a toasty day across the valley today. As I mentioned on the 6 o'clock news, this has not been a pattern that's produced records. We have not touched a record high this summer, even though it's been consistently warm with a lot of 85-degree-plus days. All the records have been safe. 86 was our official high today, 1 degree off of our forecast of 87. So our new accuracy streak up to 2 days, and for 2016 we're running at 76% accuracy, meaning we get the high right within 2 degrees 76% of the time. All right, after a muggy afternoon, I just stepped outside after the 6, and it feels refreshing out there because the dew points have finally lowered. It took all day today, but finally the drier air is starting to mix in, so our dew points have lowered to 58 in Youngstown. DuBois has had a low dew point all day. The dry air really filtered into north central PA first, and then took its sweet time to come south and west. But it's finally here, and that'll mean a pretty comfortable night tonight. All right, the heat is building, of course, across the middle of the country, no surprise. Here's a look at the heat index values for Wednesday afternoon. You're seeing some triple digits in much of the southern plains, although this is just kind of typical summer stuff for them, really. As we go into the day on Thursday, the heat continues to bubble up across the plain states, the lower Ohio Valley, the Mississippi Valley as well. And then closer to home, I think our heat index will be pretty close to the temperature on Thursday because dew points aren't going through the roof just yet. I think Friday will be a little bit more humid. All right, just a reminder of what the heat index is. It's basically the apparent temperature to your body. As your body tries to regulate your temperature, the heat index is basically the value your body thinks it is when it's trying to cool you off. Sweat is how we cool ourselves off. So the sweat bubbles up off your, not bubbles up, but comes off your skin via evaporation, and that's like an air conditioning unit, so that's how we cool ourselves off. And when the humidity is high and it's hot outside, that sweat does not evaporate as efficiently, so that leads to some problems. When we see heat index values over 90, and I think we'll see that, if not Thursday, then certainly Friday, then you run into, the possibility of heat cramps and exhaustion, a possibility. Especially if you're exerting yourself for a long time, if you're not in great shape, if you're one of those sensitive groups, either young or old, even heat index values in the lower 90s can start to be dangerous. And even if you're in pretty good shape, just maintain or use some caution and maintain common sense. You'll be fine if you do that when it gets hot outside. All right, over the next couple of days, our weather pretty quiet. It's going to be hot, moderately humid. Wednesday's a dry day, though. I think Thursday's a dry day, as our warm front is still off to our west. Now, this front is the border between the fairly humid air and the really humid air, and that really humid air will get in here on Friday. I think not only is Friday a day where we could crack 90, the dew points could be in the middle and upper 60s on Friday, meaning heat index values could reach the mid-90s during the hottest part of the day. I suspect most of the daylight hours Friday are dry, although there could be a pop-up storm in the afternoon. Better chance to get wet by Friday night as this next front comes in. And the timing on this is into the evening, into the overnight Friday night. That would decrease the chances of severe weather, but I don't want to rule that out just yet because this is a pretty strong front heading our way. All right, then it's going to be a beautiful weekend. I wanted to touch on the longer range before we go here. A sunny weekend, highs in the lower 80s, and much less humid. Dew points will drop into the 50s. It's going to be a perfect summer weekend. Showing you the upper level flow here as we take a look at the longer range. Here's the weekend, Saturday into Sunday. You notice pretty good trough digging through Hudson Bay and southeastern Canada. That's driving in that cooler air. Trough on the west coast as well. And here's our typical summertime heat bubble down across the southern tier of states. As we go into next week, I think it is going to start to heat up as that trough moves away. This trough here pushes off the east coast. You get some ridging in the east. Now, this is not a hot pattern, but this will be the pattern. This will be the kind of pattern that produces more above average days. We'll have a lot of highs in the middle, perhaps upper 80s next week. It's not the kind of pattern that's going to produce mid-90s, though. And I think this is a gently warm pattern as we go into mid-August. And what I mean by that is I'm not seeing a cool signal here, but I'm also not seeing any sort of ridge that's setting up right overhead. The core of the heat's going to stay out here across the plain states. And actually, the modeling is fairly consistent as we head towards mid-month and showing aloft a gentle northwest flow. Now, it can be warm in a northwest flow, but you're not likely to get it hot, real hot, in that kind of a flow. So I think mid-August will be characterized by a gentle warm pattern, and that means a lot of highs in the 80s. not the kind of pattern that's going to produce a lot of highs in the 90s. So it just kind of goes along with the kind of pattern we've been in most of the summer. We haven't gotten into a pattern that's produced a lot of extreme heat. Records haven't even been challenged, daily record highs. But we've had a lot of these 84 to 88, 89 degree days, and I think the middle of August will feature more weather just like that. More weather coming your way tonight on 21 News at 11 o'clock. And don't forget, our Olympic coverage starts late this week, taking us through the weekend and taking us through the next 2 weeks. Right here on 21 WFMJ, we are your home for the Olympic Games. All right, I'll see you back here for more Weather Geeks tomorrow evening. Have a great rest of this Tuesday night.